Hi, my name is Betsy Webb. I'm the Superintendent of the Bangor School Department, and with me is Alan Kochis, our Director of Business Services. Today we'd like to talk with you about the FY18 School Department budget, in which right now there's early voting, and then on June 13th there is voting at the Cross Insurance Center beginning at 7 a.m. and going till 8 p.m.
The budget has been approved by both the school committee and the city council. It's on to the voters. So what are some of the highlights for the budget?
Great. So yes, you are right that the school committee has approved the budget on a first reading and a second reading, and the city council did the same with a first reading and a second reading, and both councils were unanimous in supporting the school department budget. I think some of the highlights would be that it's only a 2% increase, and over 9 budgets we have had an average annual increase of less than 1%. And despite us losing 4% of our state revenues over that same time period, and if you consider some of the shifts with the normal teacher retirement costs that used to be a state's responsibility and now has been shifted to Bangor, it's more like a 27% change in funding from the state. So we're very proud of that we are efficient. Some of the changes would be that we are adding a social worker. This is going to be our 8th year in the 10-year plan, and we have wanted to grow the number of social workers given the needs that we see with our students and our families. So this will bring us just to 4 for the entire school department, but very necessary. There also is an additional special education teacher, which is based on students' specialized instructional needs as outlined in their IEP. And besides that, there isn't more staffing. There is an increase activity or opportunity for our students at the high school. We are adding varsity lacrosse for both boys and girls. The students have had a club sport now for 3 years, and what we have seen with our partners at Bangor Parks and Rec is that there are a number of students that are in what we would call the feeder programs to sustain this offering. So we're excited about that.
Very good. There's been a lot of talk around the state and in Bangor in particular about efficiency. Can you explain some of the ways that the Bangor School Department is efficient and effective?
Yes, absolutely. We're quite proud of that. The Maine Department of Education has rated us a higher performing and efficient school system, and what that means is that our students perform academically quite well. When you consider we're a leader, we're in the top 10 of state results, and we outperform many communities that have very different demographics. We really are what they call an outperformer, in that our students consistently score at levels that are very high, considering the amount of students that qualify for free and reduced lunch status. And our efficiency, pretty much in all categories of the budget, we are either at or below state average. The only one that we would be above is student and staff support. And that really has to do with that outperformer status, where we know how to use resources to help students overcome some of the challenges they may face. If you look at our per pupil cost, we at the elementary level are in the bottom third of the state, and at the secondary level we're in the bottom quarter. So that means, either 2/3 of the school systems at the elementary level are spending more per student than we are, and then it would be 75% of the secondary schools. So we are very proud of being efficient, but making sure that students are getting a quality education.
You mentioned that we're adding sports at Bangor High School. Some folks may question that in the times we're having now economically. How can you explain that to them?
Well, we really have restructured some of the resources in that level, cutting back on some of the supplies and the travel, and really we're so thankful to our sports boosters. What we are looking to do by reallocating the resources, just taking what we currently have, is adding those activities, but also having more intramural opportunities for our students at the high school. It's pretty amazing when you look at the middle schools, and we have over 200 students playing intramural volleyball at Cohen, and similar numbers at James F. Dowdy School for wiffle ball. And so what we want to do is make sure we have students participating at the high school level. What we know is that if students, and we know this from research, if students are involved in extra and co-curricular activities, they are more likely to make academic gains, to make healthy choices about their situations that they face as teenagers. They feel more connected to the school, and they're less likely to get into behavior kinds of issues. So in Bangor, we have a goal in our strategic plan that every student participate in at least one activity each semester. And we have consistently been able to do that with 95% of our students participating in at least one and two. So again, what we've done is reallocated resources to bring in these offerings, looked at like our freshman sport programs. If students are not trying out, then we're not running those programs. If we have the numbers, then we will run the programs. But also getting support from the boosters, and really wanting and very proud to do this, to give students healthy opportunities.
Special ed costs has continue to rise. Can you give some insight into the reasons for that?
Yes, we're again are a target of efficiency when you look at what the state is trying to do. They want schools to be at about 15% for their student population that are identified as special needs, and I think this past year we were at 16%, so we're very close. And that is attributable to having a strong regular education program. We do something called RTI, Response to Intervention, where we're monitoring students' progress, and if, similar to a medical wellness check, if they're not hitting benchmarks, then we put supports in place. And this is one way that often you can help a student before they even get to the point of a disability. So some of the costs that are increasing are some of the resources that students need. Maybe they have a learning disability that requires different kinds of accommodations. But for us, the vast majority of our budget for special ed is personnel. Sometimes people wonder about a school budget and they'll say, well, it's all personnel. And they're right. That's what runs a school. Similar to a hospital, it's all personnel. And we, have used a professional model where we have teachers working with students with disabilities. There are educational technicians, but they're under the direction of teachers. And the research has shown, again, that professional model is more successful, and really it is based on the students that we have, the needs that are laid out in their IEPs, and are following federal and state law.
This summer is going to be a very busy summer in terms of capital improvement projects throughout the system. Bangor's debt service is quite low, but can you explain why and how important it is for us to maintain our buildings, which are all very, very old?
Yeah, we have now 11 different buildings that are nearing 50 years old to 100 years old, so you're absolutely right. They're older and they require continual update and maintenance if you want to keep your debt service low. And there are some communities that have nearly $100,000 in debt because of building new schools. And we're not that case. We're very low. And in fact, with our facilities and maintenance, we're one of the lowest in the state. So we know that we're being efficient. What we have under your direction, you do a great job of working with our Director of Plants and Facilities to keep a 5-year minor capital improvement plan in which we are prioritizing what needs to happen in each building. You've got a great relationship with our firm that helps us with engineering and looking at these projects and determining which ones are the priority. Always health and safety are the top priority, and then which are the kinds of investments that will save us money in the long run. Maybe you could talk about some of the projects that are happening this summer.
Oh, we have projects going on at almost every school this summer. We have some driveway improvements. We have restroom improvements in several schools. We're going to be doing some ceiling and wall repair for schools. All in all, it's going to be a very busy summer.
Yeah, I think what people don't realize, not only are we doing all of this work, but we have summer programs where there still are children and Parks and Rec and people in our building. So it is a very short time frame for us to get all this work done, and we do have to make it a priority. What is most important is that we have learning spaces that are comfortable and optimize the environment for children to learn and for people to work. And I'm proud of the quality of our buildings. Some of our older buildings, I believe, have the best classrooms in the state. They're large rectangular rooms with high ceilings and big windows, and the daylight that comes in, they're beautiful. But it does require us to continually keep them up, for sure.
Bangor's efficient in a lot of ways, but one of the ways we are is our regional program. Can you discuss those a little bit?
Yes, in fact, it was highlighted in front of the Blue Ribbon Commission on School Funding. We were asked to present because we have one of the longest standing regional programs in which Bangor, along with 14 other school districts in the greater Bangor area, have an interlocal agreement and a cooperative agreement where Bangor provides programming to high needs, low incident special education students. And by doing that, we can offer a more quality program, but do it more efficiently than if each of our school districts did it on their own. All of the programs are in the Bangor School Department. There's the Deaf and Hard of Hearing program, there's the Multi-Handicap program, there also is the Bangor Regional program, for children with emotional and behavioral learning needs. And we're very excited because in the fall we'll have a new program which is called the Spruce Innovation School, which is an alternative ed school for children in 7th and 8th grade. One thing that I should point out is that the regional programs are not part of the FY18 budget. They are paid for through tuition by each of those other districts, the cooperative of the district. So sometimes people get confused about that, but Bangor is a part, along with every other regional school district, and when our students go there, we pay tuition just like everybody else. But that's not part of the general budget.
It would cost far more if we try to run a program
Absolutely.
on our own.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. If you had a few words just to give to the Bangor voters, why?
Well, I think this budget is one that supports the quality of education that our children deserve. Second, it is an efficient budget. It's only a 2% increase. And I would like to share that we continue to hear from Augusta that there will be more money for education. And the school committee and the city council have already approved an order that says that if additional funding comes from Augusta, for education, that it will immediately reduce the local impact. And so it's for those reasons that I believe the budget is a good one. I would recommend that people be informed. All of our documentation is on our website. Would be happy to answer any questions, but I think it's important to vote.